Hello and welcome to UQ. Today, I'd like to share with you 5 behaviors that can unintentionally make people dislike you. But first, let's remember that it's impossible to be liked by everyone. As they say, out of 10 people, 2 will like you, 2 will hate you, and 6 will be indifferent no matter what you do. Human relationships are about building strong connections with the people who truly matter to you. So, there's no need to worry about being liked by everyone, or being disliked by someone. Besides, trying to please everyone can make you lose your authentic self. However, when it comes to communication, there are certain behaviors that are best to avoid. I'm sure nobody wants to be disliked intentionally. Even the worst of people don't actually want others to dislike them. But sometimes, despite our best intentions, our relationships don't go smoothly. In such cases, it's possible that we might unknowingly engage in behaviors that negatively impact our connections with others. So, without further ado, let me share with you 5 actions that can unknowingly make people dislike you or give off a negative impression. Understanding these can make a world of difference in your life. The first behavior is called backhanded compliment. According to research conducted at Utrecht University, sometimes our attempts to make a good impression on others can backfire. This refers to the phenomenon of giving compliments that come across as sarcastic or insincere. While it's great to give compliments, it's important to do so genuinely and without going overboard to the point where it may sound ironic. When giving compliments, let's ensure they come from the heart and are given in moderation. The second behavior is called humble bragging. This refers to the act of subtly bragging while pretending to be modest. It's like posting a perfectly posed selfie on Instagram with a caption like, "Feeling ugly today, no makeup." This phenomenon was studied by researchers at Harvard University, where they examined the effects of casual bragging on 302 participants. They asked the participants to imagine 3 types of individuals: someone expressing dissatisfaction, someone directly boasting, and someone engaging in indirect bragging. Afterward, they conducted a survey asking, which type left the most favorable impression? The results showed that the person expressing dissatisfaction was by far the most favored, followed by the direct boaster, while the indirect bragger ranked last. Of course, the best approach is to avoid bragging altogether. But if you feel the need to share an accomplishment, it's better to do so directly and honestly. The third behavior on our list is delivering bad news. Harvard University conducted 11 experiments to explore how people perceive those who deliver news. In one particular experiment, participants were presented with an offer: "If you participate in this lottery and win, I will give you $2. The lottery results were communicated to someone other than the participants. After learning the lottery results, participants were asked, "What impression do you have of the person who informed you about the lottery results?" The results of the study revealed a clear trend. Participants had a more negative impression of the person who delivered the news of losing compared to the person who informed them about winning. It's important to note that the individuals delivering the news had no control over the outcome. Merely being the bearer of bad news was enough to generate dislike towards them. Quite surprising, isn't it? To avoid creating a negative impression when delivering bad news, it is advisable to avoid taking on the role of delivering bad news whenever possible. And if you must deliver bad news, emphasize that you genuinely hope for a positive outcome. Make it clear that there is no ill intent behind the message. The fourth behavior is using a smartphone during a conversation, also known as phubbing. This was examined in a study conducted at the University of Kent to investigate the negative impact of phubbing on interpersonal communication. In the experiment, approximately 128 students around the age of 19 were shown a 3-minute animated video. The content of the video was divided into 3 scenarios. 1. Characters engaged in a normal conversation without smartphone use. 2. One character frequently checked their smartphone. 3. One character constantly used their smartphone during the conversation. Afterward, participants were asked for their impressions. The results showed that the more the characters used their smartphones, the lower the perceived quality of communication and the deterioration of the relationship. It's not surprising, is it? Now, why is phubbing considered so detrimental? It is because using a smartphone during a conversation is perceived as a form of social exclusion. It seems that when people witness someone engaging in phubbing behavior, their brains automatically interpret it as being excluded from the social interaction. Therefore, it's important to keep our smartphones out of sight during conversations. The fifth behavior is called hubris, which refers to boasting or bragging through comparisons with others. It can be something like saying, "I could do it better than them." Humans tend to dislike individuals who belittle others to elevate themselves. In such cases, it's better to directly express one's own skills or abilities, like saying, "I am good at it." This type of straightforward statement leaves a better impression. When someone engages in this kind of boasting, the other person often reflexively thinks, "They are also disrespecting me." It's a relatable situation. These are the pitfalls that people prone to creating a negative impression on others often fall into. As a countermeasure, the first step is to become aware of these traps. Once you realize that such pitfalls exist, you can observe your own statements and work towards improvement. I want to reiterate that it's not necessarily a bad thing to be disliked by someone. There will always be people who dislike us, no matter what we do. There's no need to fret over that. However, if there are behaviors that unintentionally make others feel uncomfortable, it's worth making an effort to address them. For example, I have found myself occasionally taking out my smartphone during meals with friends and family. However, even just having the smartphone on the table can create a negative impression. So now, I keep it in my pocket unless it's an extenuating circumstance, in which case I will explain up front. Thank you for watching until the end. On this channel, we introduce books and information that can help improve our lives. If you found this video interesting or informative, we would greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to the channel.